Hello to everyone. In the last session, we have discussed about that some of the main equipments in the thermal power plant. That is, in the coal handling system, we have discussed what is pulverizer, what is the main function of the pulverizers, and what are the different types of pulverizers are available. The next one we have discussed that electrostatic precipitator, which is used to remove the fly ashes in the flue gas system, and what are the basic principle operation of electrostatic precipitator we have discussed in detail. The next one we have discussed the type of boilers, how the boilers are getting classified according to the nature of flow of flue gas and water system, that is classified into fire tube boiler and water tube boiler. Then based on the axis of the boiler classification, the classification based on the position and the location of the furnace, and based on the pressure level of the boiler, and based on the application it is classified. So that also we have discussed. The next one we have discussed that boiler drum, boiler associated elements, that is boiler drum, superheater, evaporator, economizer. So the last session, last part, we have discussed about that deaerator and the boiler feed water pump. As we already discussed, the deaerator is useful to remove the excessive non-condensable gases and oxygen content in the feed water system in order to reduce the corrosive effect in the boiler elements. Also, the boiler feed pump is a multi-stage high pressure pump, is useful to supply the high pressure feed water through the economizer to the boiler, and this boiler feed pump taking suction from the deaerator storage tank. So coming to the next one, it's a condenser. Condenser is a main element in the thermal power plant. So I see here that is a condenser is one of the heat exchanger. It's a tube and shell type heat exchanger. You can see very well that in the tube side the water, cooling water is circulating from the external cooling water is circulating. This cooling water may be river water, raw water, or any sea water. On the shell side, the steam is coming to the shell side and is getting cooled and condensed, become water. This water is going to your deaerator. So this is the general arrangement of your our condenser heat exchanger. See this figure. This is the green color pipeline is the cooling water system. This shell type. This is the uh, shell of your condenser. Here only this condensation takes place. This is the cooling water pipes going through the inside tubes. This is a practical uh, picture of that condenser system. So the condenser is a type of shell and tube type heat exchanger, is called a surface condenser. In general, the condenser is maintained at a negative pressure to make the effective cooling of the incoming exhaust steam of turbine. So the condenser in general, generally the condenser they are maintaining negative pressure, that is vacuum, so that we can cool the condensate steam system very nicely. So effective cooling will take place when you are reducing the pressure of the area. So the condenser is supplied with the external cooling water. This is the external cooling water through the tubes. Either it is a sea water or the river water, which is used to cool the exhaust steam from the steam turbine to get collection of the condensate water in the hot well. We used to call hot well. Bottom storage tank is hot well. So from this hot well, this condensate water is getting pumped by the condensate extraction pump and supplying condensate water to the deaerator. In the deaerator, again as we discussed already, the deaeration takes place and all the non-condensable gas is getting removed, and this deaerated water is getting collected in the deaerator storage tank. So this is the cyclic of the condensate water system. So the next one is that cooling water system, cooling tower system. Cooling water is used in the cooling tower system. As we discussed, the condenser the incoming exhaust steam is getting condensed by the external cooling water. Once this external cooling water cool down the exhaust steam and convert into the condensate water, this external cooling water gets heated up. So this heated up cooling water we need to reuse after cooling. Where we can cool, this can be cooled in the cooling tower. So the external cooling water return hot water is supplying to the through some several nozzles, ring type nozzles arranged in this inside the cooling tower middle area. Through that we are spraying this water, and also the air is coming from bottom to top. Uh, and because of this air is increasing this passing through this water spray, so the water is getting evaporated, and the water is getting cooled, and cooled water is coming and storing in the bottom of the tank. Is this water is pumping back to your condenser for cooling. So this is the cyclic operation. If you see these power stations outside, there will be the big tower will be there. This is a nothing but your cooling tower. In the cooling tower, the hot cooling water is coming from the condenser, is coming and getting sprayed here, and the air is going in the upward directions. So because of this interaction between water and the air, there will be the evaporation takes place, and the water is getting cooled, and this cooled water is again pumped back to your condenser cooling system. So this air is nature of supplying the air for cooling. You can say this is a natural draft or mechanical draft. Mechanical draft means some sort of fan will be there to supply the air or suck the air, and natural means no fan will be there. So this is the basic idea about the cooling tower. So the main element in the steam power generation station, it is a steam turbine. Everyone knows this is a prime mover. So the steam turbine is a mechanical device that extracts thermal energy from the pressurized steam and converts it into the mechanical energy. See, this is a real steam turbine. The steam is coming from the high pressure steam is coming inside through the nozzle. It is going to the turbine. So this is a inside elevation, inside structure of the turbine. So two pressure turbines, LP and HP. So the steam is coming inside and through the nozzles and the vents. It is uh, vents of the turbine rotor is getting some force and start to rotate. So the rotary motion of the turbine is used to drive an electrical generator to produce electricity. So the improvement in the thermodynamic efficiency is possible through the expansion of the steam in the multiple stages. These are the multiple stages, we can say. These are the different multiple stages. So the because of you are using multiple stages, so we are getting that improved efficiency, thermodynamic efficiency. Generally, the turbines are classified into impulse turbine and reaction turbine. So up to 100 megawatt, there is a only single stage turbine is used. Only one pressure type is used. When we are going for more than 100 megawatt gas power stations, turbines, so there are three stage of pressure level is involved. That is low pressure, intermediate pressure, and high pressure turbines. So this is a turbine. When we will discuss this turbine in more detail, each and every system associated that in the turbine related lectures in the future session. So another one is a generator. As we discussed already, the generator is converting mechanical energy of steam turbine into the electrical energy. Generally, the generator is coupled through mechanical coupling. It is connected with the turbine. So once the turbine rotates, generator rotates and produces electricity. How the generator producing the electricity is it follows the Faraday's law of an electromagnetic induction. So it converts mechanical energy of steam turbine into electrical energy. For producing 50 Hz AC supply power, a two-pole generator rotating at a speed of 3000 rpm is normally used. So the synchronous generator is widely used for the power generating applications. Why? Because it is more reliable, flexible, and it supplies quality of power, and also it has the facility to provide one excitation to have the reactive power and voltage control. So generally the synchronous generator is used for the power plant applications. So once we generated the power going to transport to the grid system, high voltage grid system through the step up transformer. As an example, the power is generated at 14 kV, 14 kilovolt. So it is getting stepped up to 138 kilovolt or 230 kilovolt with the help of this transformer and connected and transferred to the grid system. So what is transformer? Transformer is a static electrical device. There is no moving part in that, which transforms the voltage level of electrical supply from one level to another level without a change in frequency. So it can be used to step up or step down the input voltage according to the requirement. Here this generating stations we are using generally step up transformer along with your generator. So it's getting stepped up and transmitting the power. So the generator transformer is used to step up the voltage level of generator and helps to transmit the generated power to the high voltage grid system. So this is the transformer. So switchyard is the final exporting of our power. See, when you are if you take any example of process industries or any production oriented plant, whatever the product is getting out, like any for even for the mechanical, there is a production of your pumps or any motor, anything, any product, it is getting transported through the some vehicles and go to the market or dealers supplying. Similarly, the once the power is getting produced, this power produced power is stepped up into the high voltage level and transmitted through some transmission line. So here that switchyard is a collection of several electrical equipments like switches, isolators, breakers. All the electrical equipments are involved in that. It has the high voltage electricity involved in that. It is happening, the switching is takes place. When you are exporting the power is getting transmitted through the different set of feeders means different transmission lines. So these transmission lines are getting switched on or switched off with the generator side. So that electrical switchyards are usually part of substation with several sub-feeders where the electricity is transformed from one voltage to another for the transmission and distribution. So from that generating station, this is the generating transformers. You can say it is getting stepped up and transmitting the power through the transmission line. Before going to the transmission line, it is passing through several feeders with each feeder having their own circuit breakers and isolators, so that we can transmit the power any type of feeders whenever we record to keep in service or not these feeders. So this is the we used to call switchyard of the electrical system. It is coming after the generator part. So far we have discussed in the lecture 2, 2A, 2B, 2C and 2D. We have seen one short video also thermal power plant. So first we discussed that basic principle of thermal power plant, discussed the Rankine cycle, and we have discussed that subsystems of thermal power plant: coal handling, ash handling, air and flue gas system, feed waters and steam system. And Rankine cycle of thermal power plant, basic process and methods of improvement of cycle efficiency. And we seen the short video about the thermal power plant basic operation. Finally, we have discussed that main components of thermal power plant along with the schematic diagram, as well as that we have discussed the main components, types and purpose of these components. Thank you. That second lecture is over.